Welcome home, everyone. I'm Jarrell. Good to see you again. This is a Japanese instrument that I think is just absolutely beautiful. It's quite fascinating, and it's so interesting because you really get that just traditional Japanese folk music sound out of this. Now, this particular instrument is referred to as, in a couple different names actually, some variations, either the Taishokoto or the Taishogoto or the Nagoya Harp. Now, you might be wondering what these are all about. These are actually keys that you press down upon. They are spring-loaded, and there are frets down in there. So this is actually extremely similar to the mountain dulcimer, which you see in Appalachia. This is a different instrument in that it does rely on the keys, so you can't slide, you can't glissando between your strings, and also you'll find that there's a chorused droning sound you get because there are three strings that are all tuned the same. You have three G's here. G. You have a G that is an octave down. These are the strings that can be fretted. And you have one drone string down here that is a lower G. But the frets do not affect the lowest G. They do not affect that. What I find interesting about these instruments is that often you'll find them with pickups installed, either electromagnetic pickups or an internal piezo pickup. So you can plug this into an amp and you can use any kind of pedal effects or effects chains that you would like. Now, these instruments are reported to have been patented for invention in the early 1900s, around 1912 to 1920s. And it is sort of speculated that they use this sort of typewriter sort of look to them because it does look and feel like an old-time typewriter. Typewriters were invented around the late 1800s. They were sort of patented in 1968 or thereabouts in the States. And it was speculated that around the time that this instrument was invented, typewriters were becoming more widespread and more popular. So it really was capitalizing on the fact that people were becoming more and more familiar with typewriter. People were using typewriters more. And so it's been speculated that this sort of key layout was chosen for that, to sort of match the iconography of a typewriter. I have seen them with differently shaped keys as well, ones that look like, little tiles, ones that look a little more similar to a piano key. So I think that is just, it's so fascinating that this is what we chose in terms of what sort of keys are we going to put on this guy. Now, in terms of ornamentation with your instrumentation, you can get a little bit of vibrato in there, just a bit, by sort of wobbling the keys a bit. So if I sort of... So there is a little bit of that, but you are fighting against the sort of the wood blocks that are in there that stop that from wobbling. So you can do a bit of that, but I don't really want to damage the instrument by wobbling that a bit back and forth. I had studied traditional players with this instrument. I'd seen that some players do that, and so I just assume that is a particular technique that some musicians use when they're playing this, but I don't speak Japanese, so I would love to ask players who do play this. I'd love to speak to more players in person and discuss this instrument with them, but I don't speak Japanese. That's going to be quite a challenge. You can see that this particular instrument has an electromagnetic pickup. It does have its own sort of lower down pickup there for the drone string, and its own pickups there. It has tone and volume knobs, and what's fascinating is that it doesn't have a standard sort of headphone out, or the sort of patch lead out that you would on a guitar. So I actually have to use a sort of adapter in order to get that to plug into my amps. But I have tried that in my amps, and it sounds very cool. So I have this instrument because I'm using this for work. I acquired this on eBay, I think for around 100 USD. These are actually quite common, and you will find these being sent out of Japan for incredibly reasonable prices. So if you're interested in just a beautiful, fascinating instrument, go ahead. I found this on eBay. Japanese sellers are just always fantastic. They've always been a pleasure to deal with. So if you're interested in something like it, go ahead and check out eBay. For around 100, 150 USD, you'll find that someone will ship this out of Japan and send it to you. I get the feeling that they have a lot of these instruments, and they seem pretty happy to share them with people all around the world. My instrument came with this wonderful case. This is just so fantastic. I'll open this up and share this with you. Really lovely. Just fantastic. Great condition. There's even a mount here which holds a pick. And the pick is quite interesting. It seems to have a sort of a rubber attached to it. So that allows me to grip the pick. So this is the pick that came with that. It's so fascinating watching this instrument be played on YouTube. And I hope to share more, but I'm still becoming proficient with this instrument. And again, I'm mostly using this for work as I record soundtracks that I've composed. So this is just really fascinating. If you'd like to see more, please go ahead and leave a comment. If you'd like to hear me play this through an amp with various pedal effects, go comment and let me know. It's something that would take a little bit of setup on my part, and I'm really only spend time on things that I'm really if I'm sort of using it for work, and I can create a video to share with you guys. That's usually the stuff that I'll work on. Something that I find interesting is a plastic bridge here. I would have preferred to see a bone bridge, and possibly at some point in the future I may just craft a bone bridge to replace that. But I get the feeling it's glued down because I tried shifting it around a bit and it didn't seem to move. So that is something that I would have to find some way to remove that. And at this point I don't really want to bother. So I think I'll leave that there. Anyway, that's just one thing that I've noticed, that I'd prefer a bone bridge on there. Anyway, it does have this neat little scratch plate on there, and actually it's in such good condition that the protective film on the scratch plate is still there. It hasn't even been removed yet. The metal is, the chrome, you know, the sort of brass chrome is quite nice. I'll try to keep that clean. As it's always a good idea to wipe those things down, as that's where your hand goes when you play. Your sweat and your other skin oils can get on there and they can tarnish that. So it's always good to clean that when you're done playing that. So again, that is the Taishokoto, or the Taishogoto, also known as a Nagoya harp. And I hope you enjoyed having a look at that. I hope that was interesting to you. I keep holding it upside down, you know. So I hope that was interesting to you. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you'd like to hear me plug this into an amp, put some pedal effects on there, please let me know in the comments. And yeah, that's all we've got time for today. So I hope you're all doing well. I hope you take care of yourselves and come home again soon. I'll leave the light on for you.